All right, all right, all right. What is up, everybody? Sorry I'm late. I know on my Facebook I said 6:15, but I really needed some guns powder after my buff dudes workout. It was a really good workout. Today was chest and tries. Guns powder. It's delicious. I'm not really a fan of vanilla. I'm going to say it. I like chocolate a lot better, but I have this vanilla one now, so I got to re-up soon. So I like to put some PP2 in it, and it mixes it up really good, and it kind of tastes like a peanut butter-y, like if I had a banana in it, it would probably taste really good too, but I don't really buy bananas, so. All right, well, so I got a couple of NikkyMGTV videos that I wanted to watch. So I figured I'd wait until the live stream to share them and stuff like that. And this way I could give my commentary and talk about military stuff like relations and stuff like that. So I figured it would be a good opportunity to do all that stuff. I mean, because I have subscribers. I got 73 subscribers right now, working on 100. We can get to 100 by the end of the year. I'm feeling it. So hit the subscribe button and like this video and hit the notification bell so you know that I'm live. I usually try to go live Thursdays. Like Thursdays or Fridays, usually around this time, I try to go live, like always. So, all right. Little housekeeping. I'm going on leave in next week, so I'm going to New York. Going to my 20th high school reunion. Pretty excited about that. Can't wait to see all the guys, all the bullies during high school that became cops and all the nerds that became doctors. We'll see how that goes. So, all right. Well, I'm just joking, but let's get into it. Let's add NikkyMGTV. If it wasn't for NikkyMG, I probably wouldn't have been in the Navy. So, all right, what's this one? This one was an hour ago. So I seen all of these. I wanted to watch them so bad, but I figured I'd wait. So let's get into it.
What's up, where I'm currently at? Y'all know I got out the Army like the 18th. Found out a Fort Stewart. Got my DD-214, my certificate of honorable discharge.
Why is he in his uniform, though? That's what I don't get. Like, I get it. You're in the Army, right? You're in the Navy. Why do you have to be in your uniform? Like, why? I just don't get it.
And was on leave. It's the last thing I heard. Today I get a call from the transition office telling me, oh, do you know your unit has marked you as AWOL?
Yeah, we have a soldier that was getting out of the military that is in a status of AWOL as the story gets deeper, and they post it all over TikTok to kind of go line by line how this could happen to just so strangely happen as somebody's about to leave the service.
What's up, where I'm currently at? Y'all know I got out the Army like the 18th. Found out a Fort Stewart. Got my DD-214, my certificate of honorable discharge, and was on leave.
So he's probably like on terminal leave or something like that. I don't know if that's what the Army calls it, but the Navy calls it terminal leave when you get out.
It's the last thing I heard. Today I get a call from the transition office telling me, oh, do you know your unit has marked you as AWOL? AWOL.
That's why he's in his uniform, because he's making a purpose or stating making a stand.
How can I be AWOL with a signed leave form? So telling me that somebody canceled my ETS leave for whatever reason, didn't tell me. So now I've been sitting at the MP station for over 2 hours because I came up here because you're not going to just mark me AWOL and have the police looking for me.
They said, nah, Staff Sergeant, guess what? You're back in.
This is what I be talking about with Fort Stewart. They won't even let you get out the Army in peace. They won't even let, I feel like I'm being kidnapped against my will. I'm technically a civilian. I have a DD-214. Why am I here?
Now, weirdly, usually when people are on what they call terminal leave, where they're using the last bit of their time off to kind of just make the sweet exit from the military, they typically aren't tied too much to the military. They're not going to have their common access card. They're not going to have certain things to just go back to base. Typically, people just go back home because they do have that DD-214, which is the page that's necessary to say you're officially out of the military and use that to receive benefits and things like that, because that's your proof of service. Now, him being with the military police is interesting, that nobody was willing to say, like, hey, we have this guy, we're tracking him, he's on leave. Like, why not communicate the people that are on the transfer side of it with his command? Like, he's got approved time off already. I don't know about that, but there is more.
Yeah, that's poor leadership right there. Like, they weren't tracking him, so that's just poor planning or poor leadership, really. Like, they weren't even, they must have like forgot maybe.
Just says, oh no, you got that DD-214. You are now a civilian. Take that money suit off and cuss everybody out. And someone here says, friendly S1 here, request an IPPS TAC A audit. It'll reflect who withdrew your absence and when. All absence cancellations require an approval from you, unit, company, or battalion commander. Boom, then go IG Inspector General. So it appears to still have questions, as a soldier doesn't truly get off the hook with just one day of going into the office. And I do want to let you know that, like, this isn't a fort that has been very popular recently. Not going to talk about it because it'll flag this video. So, yeah, it sounds like this fort army base here is having a lot of issues.
What will flag the video? What did he say?
Not going to talk about it because it'll flag, let you know that, like, this isn't a fort that has been very popular recently.
Oh, okay.
Not going to talk about it because it'll flag this video. So, yeah, it sounds like this fort army base here is having a lot of issues.
This is so delusional. Like, bro, how the fuck? Well, I have a signed leave form approved right here from the 18th to motherfucking August 25th. Boom. I found it out on the 18th. DD-214. That's what that is. DD-214. I got many copies of them.
When you have your DD-214, that is like your golden ticket out of the military.
Why would you somehow go in the system and cancel my leave? Don't tell me about it. I get a call from transition talking about, oh, they're about to mark you AWOL. Something's fishy going on. So
yeah, that's pretty crazy to think that. Imagine your command was like, oh yeah, congratulations. Here's your DD-214. You know, you're out of the Army now. You're out of the Navy. Congratulations. Thank you for your service. Boop, boop, boop. Next day. Oh, hey, so-and-so. Hey, shipmate. Yeah, you're AWOL right now. That's ridiculous.
Walk up there because you ain't finna melt me AWOL. I need all my... I got something for them.
And he's not the only person that thinks something is going out for him, or somebody is going out for him. That essentially you would think this would be at officer level, but we're going to hear about how this is enlisted level. Unfortunately, Inspector General complaints are there to advocate for service members, which a lot of people say it's protecting the command as well, which I do agree. It kind of plays both sides of that. But it also...
Yeah, IG isn't just to protect us. They're kind of like HR, you know, like you like them and you kind of don't like them at the same time, because you know that they're like, you know, they're there to protect you, but they really want to protect the command. Like it's like HR.
Starts a time.
Not that I have any problems with my IG. You know, my IG is pretty good. I mean, I like them. They're nice to me, and I'm nice to them. So, and I don't have any issues in my command. So,
timeline to figure things out and holds accountability and kind of puts a light on some bad things that could be happening. But he further goes into who may be coming after him as he has a hunch.
The shit that I've been through on Stewart, bro, like, is the reason that I'm getting out of the fucking army. Remember, I don't know if y'all remember, but remember that situation with my hair, where the battalion commander basically like tried to like embarrass me in front of a whole battalion because of my hair? I did an EO complaint on that motherfucker and the shit came back, found it. I ain't even let y'all know after that. That motherfucker stalked me and harassed me for a year.
I wonder what was wrong with his hair. I mean, his hair is probably like short. It's probably in regs. I mean, I know a dude who's black and his hair sticks out of his hat, like sticks out of his cover. You know, like I can't bust his chops to get a haircut sometimes. But I mean, this guy, he don't look like he needs a haircut.
After that, I'm talking about stalked me and harassed me.
I mean, the beard, the chin, the goatee, that's you know, you'd have to get like a special waiver in the army. They call it profile. Like, you know, yeah, you ever see the meme? He's like the sergeant. I'm on profile. You know, like, yeah.
For a year, to the point where I kept filing complaints, retaliation complaints, nothing worked. IG complaints, nothing worked. I had to write Congress to get out of that unit. I had to write Congress to get away from that motherfucker. After that, I said, bro, I'm done with this shit. This is it for me. Like, I'm like, this shit go crazy. Like, a motherfucker, you got systems and programs in place for soldiers, for lower ranking individuals to be able to protect themselves from people who abuse their power, and they don't work. They just there. So then I decide, you know what? I'm gonna take my talent somewhere else. I go get my degree. I go get certifications. You know, I do everything I need to do to make sure that I'm set up on the outside, and I ETS. Mind you, this time, I'm just trying to get out. At this point, I got a racist ass Hispanic first sergeant, racist as hell, hate black soldiers, blatantly hate. He got so many EO complaints on him. I ain't paid a motherfucker no attention. But motherfucker ain't like me. Don't care. I'm getting out. Motherfucker made up some shit and then wrote me up and barred me from re-enlisting. It didn't go through, but tried to bar me from re-enlisting, knowing I was already getting out. I'm already getting out. I don't give a fuck. I don't want to be in your organization. So I finally settle out on the 18th. Final out, get my DD-214. Then I'm getting calls and shit saying I'm AWOL. My motherfucker first on to win in the system canceled my leave without telling me. Nobody called me. I ain't heard from nobody in unit.
I don't think they can do that. Cancel leave, and especially if he's getting out. I don't think that's legal.
Since I found out on the 18th. I go up there today, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? The commander like, oh, you AWOL. I said, so what? Like, I'm not AWOL. I got a leave form. What's next? Oh, you gonna go to the MP station. They gonna unmark you AWOL, and then we're gonna start, the process for UCMJ. Man, this is how people lose. This is how people lose. Bro, I found it out. I technically ETS on the 25th of August. I'm gone. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Like, what you gonna do? Give me another contract? Bitch, I'm gone. What you gonna do?
Yeah, his contract's over.
I want bitches to leave me alone. That's what I want. I want bitches to leave me alone. But since you want to play, and I am a Leo, and I like to play, we're gonna play. So for the next 13
Oh, I'm a Leo. I'm a lion.
days, which is the 13 working days I got in the army, I'm going to come up there I'm gonna harass y'all. I'm gonna antagonize y'all. Y'all gonna be wishing y'all left me the fuck alone, cause that's when
Technically, that's probably illegal too, to do that. What he's talking about.
I'm at with it. I'm on all bullshit. The fuck.
I do want to commend this person because they've done congressional inquiries, they've done inspector general complaints, they've used every resource they can. That sounds like they're not just complaining to the wind and yelling at it like there's nothing wrong. It sounds like there has been founded issues that have been wrong that obviously I bet you they have paperwork for. But for what he's accusing a first sergeant to then cancel this leave, I'm just surprised the command is backing it. And they're like, yeah, we're trying to do an Article 15 on you with only like 2 weeks left in the Army, pretty much at this point. And now they're trying to hold him back. Like, the craziness of that is like, he's not even physically there anymore. Like,
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like, just think about it. You're like, oh, yeah. I know a lot of people who are like, yo, man, I can't wait to get out. Oh, I'm getting out. I'm getting out. Like one of the third classes that, in my shop right now, he's like, oh, I can't wait to get out. I can't wait. Oh, yes. Only 2 more years or whatever, right? Imagine if that happened to you. Somebody from your unit's like, oh, yeah, you need to come back because, we canceled your leave because we don't like you. Like that's fucked up.
you could just let him go on his own and that would have been it. So it sounds like there are some things where this person might or probably should get a lawyer involved if that's the case. And as you can hear in his voice as well, there is a reason why people go a little crazy about Army things and things that are going bad, which people started wondering maybe he was a person on the base, but we now know that isn't. But it's crazy that people are spreading rumors that this person might be the person causing chaos over on the base.
First of all, let me start by saying this regarding that shooting. Fort Stewart needs to be thoroughly investigated. If it was up,
Oh yeah, there was a shooting. There was like a mass shooting where 5 soldiers got shot from an active shooter. At Fort Stewart. So I guess that's where this guy was. It sounded like this guy said Fort Story, but
to me, I would have it disbanded. That's how toxic it is. That's how toxic it is. Before I came to Fort Stewart, I knew I was doing 20 years in the Army, bro. I knew it. I had a passion for it. I just loved what I did. I'm not joking to you when I say I was this place traumatized me. I wouldn't even lie to you. I'm talking about traumatized me, like to the point I had to check myself into a mental hospital twice. So yeah, it's unfortunate. It is very unfortunate that people.
this guy kind of looks feminine to me. Like he's got like this little thing right here, this little jewel on his cheek, like, and he's got these like weird diamond earrings. I mean, whatever, diamond earrings or something, but I don't know. Like this to me, it kind of looks like he's wearing eyeliner or eyelash or whatever.
People lost their lives, but something has to be done about the mental health crisis going on at Fort Stewart with these toxic leaders who feel like they can do whatever they want to do.
I don't know. I'm starting to kind of change my opinion a little bit now because of his appearance. It kind of looks soft, like he doesn't look mentally tough to me. He sounds soft, like I mean, I get it, like why people want to get out and stuff like that. Sometimes I say I want to get out all the time, but I realize that I'm pushing 40 and I'm pretty much stuck. So I just got to suck it up and you got to play the game. So that's what I've been doing. But this guy's probably young enough to be able to get out and start a new career. But, I don't know.
Update regarding my ETS leave. They just approved it. I got an email saying they approved my leave from today to the day that I get out of the Army. Because I had to go file IG complaints. I filed one. And that's the reason why they never liked me. I had the worst time on this base because I held people accountable. You could never play with me. You were never going to play with me because I'm running. I'm pressing charges. I'm going to the people. I'm filing complaints. I'm going to talk to people. Like, I'm going to advocate for myself.
I still don't think that it's right that the command did that, cancel the leave. But there's always two sides to every story. Just remember that. So we don't know really what happened until their command says that. Like, you know, whenever somebody talks like about something or somebody, it's like, yo, what's the other side of the story? So,
because nobody else is going to advocate for you. Now I'm very upset with the fact that there are people in the army sending around text messages in the army with my full name and rank, accusing me of something that they don't even know. Where you get that from? Who told you that? Who told you that it was me? You got that from the police? You got that from officials? Who told you that?
who told you what? That's the question now. Told you what? That you went AWOL?
And this is what I'm talking about. This is not the first, like, I'm so glad that this chapter of my life is over, because it has been a terrible chapter. It has been a horrible chapter.
It probably wasn't that bad.
And if you are on Fort Stewart right now and you are being targeted and you are being bullied and you're a soldier, bro, advocate for yourself. That's all you can do. No one's going to, the leaders are too scared. We don't got the same leaders we had back then who went to bat for their soldiers. The leaders are too scared. I don't care what you got to do. IG, EO, congressionals always work. File a congressional. Don't let them people bully you. And if you are a leader on Fort Stewart bullying soldiers, bro, I wish nothing good for you. I wish nothing good for you. You're a weirdo. Condolences to the people, you know, that lost their life and their family members. But something has to be done about Fort Stewart. I'm happy. They put me back on leave. I can enjoy my birthday, because today is my birthday, and go on about my business. Y'all be
He's Leo. Remember that.
blessed.
There were people that were out there thinking it was him because of the drama that was going on. And unfortunately, the base is big. We know that. There's a lot of soldiers. There's a lot of problems probably as well. And so I think that the Army's had a bad rap in a lot of this. We've talked about Fort Hood. We've talked about other places where there's been a lot of bad things that have gone on, soldiers that are missing, things like that. And I think there are still people wanting accountability. I still think there's people that want accountability in the answers for these types of things. But, you know, this was a crazy story of a soldier that was being claimed as AWOL, which I'm just like, I've never heard of this happening, but it seems intentional. That's just what I'm seeing from this and giving my observation of it. But I
mean, yeah, it seems intentional, but you don't know the other side of the story. So there's always two sides to every story, Nikki. All right. So that was the first one. I wanted to watch this one too. This must stop. This Army combat surgeon was never even in the Army.
Enlisted in the U.S. Army back in 2009. I was actually going to be a combat surgeon, to be an officer, obviously, with my ASVAB scores and my degree. I actually got pregnant.
Yeah, so you can see this person that's not so bright is going on a podcast, which, by the way, is kind of just bashing women a lot of times, but rightfully so in some ways that I've seen, but other ways it's, you know, questionable. But here we are where we have a bimbo-y type airhead blonde hair woman pretty much saying she was supposed to be in the Army. Now, there are a lot of things to dissect from this because the stories don't really make sense.
He called her a bimbo. I mean, it looks like she was on whatever podcast. So, yeah.
Pretty much saying she was supposed to be in the Army. Now, there are a lot of things to dissect from this because the stories don't really make sense, and it's either one, she's embellishing, two, the recruiters are lying, which, I mean, both could be true, or three, there's just not enough brain cells going on. But let's dive into it. And disclaimer, before people ask about it, yes, I know about the situation down at the base. I can't even say the name of it because YouTube takes down videos about that. I am tracking it. There's news still coming out about it. I will try and talk about it, but right now, just it's not a good time until there's more information released. I will cover that soon.
I was enlisted in the U.S. Army back in 2009. I was actually going to be a combat surgeon. So they were trying to fast track me to be a combat surgeon because my ASVABs were so high, and I had already received my diploma from UC Irvine.
So this is confusing because if you were to be a combat surgeon, usually that's just a surgeon, you would do 4 years of undergrad, which he did go to undergrad, 4 years of med school, plus probably a 6-year residency. There's not really a fast track there. Now, if you mean like a field medic or something, like a 68 whiskey that they call them in the Army, that sounds more appropriate, but you're not a surgeon. That's not what your role is, right?
Facts. A 68 whiskey is like a corpsman in the Navy. They're basically paramedics slash maybe what the heck is it? Doctor's assistant. What the heck is a doctor's assistant? Freaking, I can't think of.
You're doing first line intervention, enemy line combat care, right? Tactical combat casualty care is what they call it. And then the interesting thing is she mentions the ASVAB, even though we know that officers take a different test in order to actually go into the officer side of things versus the enlisted. So this is confusing already, where it's like, which way are we going? And I think it is the enlisted route.
PA, that's what it is. A PA, physician's assistant. There we go.
So they wanted me to be an officer, obviously, with my ASVAB scores and my degree. But I
wonder what her ASVAB score was.
Actually declined officer status because I did not believe that. I don't believe in taking something just because you learned the head knowledge. I believe in doing the work to actually gain that respect. So I was.
Okay, so she probably wanted to go enlisted first, and then she wanted to go over as a Mustang. I don't know what they call it in the Army. Probably the same thing. But I mean, I have my bachelor's degree and I'm still enlisted. Like, like my recruiters were all like, my recruiters did not want me to go officer. They were like, you're not going to make it as an officer. You have 2 waivers into the Navy. You have 2 ARIs. Like, they did not want me to go officer. They thought like I would have gotten in trouble or something like that. So, I mean, I'm kind of glad I went enlisted. I'm glad that I'm a CB and I like being a CB. So that's why I'm going to stay CB. But yeah. So, all right.
Was going to go as a specialist, as an E4.
I can't tell you how many people.
Oof, E4, yeah. In the Navy, if you have a bachelor's degree and you go enlisted, you get automatically E3, not E4, which kind of sucks because you don't get more money in the Navy than the Army. The Army gives you more money for having your bachelor's degree if you enlist. But if you enlist in the Army and you're an E4, you don't. You're not an NCO. In the Navy, when you're an E4, you're an NCO.
I've known that have done this. They're like, I need to be enlisted first to learn how to lead. And some people do need that. Some do. A lot of people that become officers have never been enlisted and have been great. And they learn and they adapt.
True. Officers don't know how to march. They don't know how to do color guard. They don't know how to, do all the stuff that enlisted do, like the officers that come in just to after they get their degrees or whatever like that, and they go officer first. Like my LT, he used to be enlisted too, and he was actually on the ship, and he's in the CC right now. And this man leads from the front. I'm telling you, he is a hard charger, wants to get stuff done. He's just like, let's go, let's go, let's go. But, then you got Chief. Chief is all like, all right, calm down, because the chiefs and the officers, they're like the same. So, I mean, they're not necessarily the same, but like the chiefs kind of like lead the ensigns on how to be an officer. So that's, like when you're a junior officer, you look at your chiefs as your mentors. So, yeah.
Or whatever, right? And I understand there's a need for both sides of that, from the street and from people that have actually been enlisted. It's good to have a mixture of both. But to be like, just because I wanted to lead, I felt like I needed to make an arbitrary like barrier to my life. That's the dumbest thing ever. I will never forget in boot camp, there was a girl, she's from the South, she talked like this, and she's like, I want to be enlisted first, make sure I knew how to lead. And the chief said, that's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard. You should have just went officer. And by the way, she got out as the E5 and never commissioned anyway. So there's that.
And be a medic, start as a medic, and then they were going to fast track me to be a combat surgeon as soon as I was ready. I actually got pregnant. I got pregnant.
Oh, go ahead.
This was back in 2009. The economy had crashed in 2008. I was a college graduate, and all of us were like scrambling around, like, what are we going to do?
United States Army future soldier.
Yes. So I never made it because I got pregnant, and I actually had to go and get a military discharge.
She didn't want to go into the Army, probably. So a lot of, I'm not knocking on the females, but that's what a lot of females do. A lot of females will get pregnant on purpose sometimes just to get out of deployment.
Charge before I got shipped off.
Once you said got pregnant, I was like, oh, the commenters are going to love this one. That would take you out of the running, most likely, of being able to be a combat surgeon, especially during a wartime of 2009. But let's dissect this further.
So at that time, there was such a wait list to even get in the military that I had to wait 4 months from when I enlisted to when I was going to get shipped out to.
No, there wasn't a wait list. It was more of like, hey, you can't ship out yet. You have to ship out this day or whatever like that. This, It's kind of like how it works. It's not like a wait list. It's more of like, all right, we have you. So what happened to me was I signed a Undez contract, and they asked me when I wanted to go to boot camp. I forgot when I said I was going to go. Oh, yeah. They were like November or December, you can go, right? And then I fought my recruiters and was like, hey, I'm not going to boot camp unless if I get a job. Give me a job. Like I didn't even get a bonus for being undesignated. So I was lucky that I had some friends that told me like, hey, get a job. So then the recruiters asked me, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to learn how to fire a weapon, learn an outside skill, and serve my country. So, and then they asked me if I wanted to be a CB, and I was like, done. So that's pretty much the gist of it. And then after I signed as a CB, they were like, all right, well, we got to push your leave day back to like, what's it called? I went in April of 2018. So they pushed my boot camp time back. I guess it's like to fill spots or whatever like that. So I don't know, some sort of process.
Everything comes to fruition as we learn she was never even in the Army.
She didn't even go to boot camp. So technically, she was just like a future soldier. That was it. She wasn't a soldier. She never graduated boot camp. If you don't graduate boot camp, you're not a sailor. You're not a soldier. You're not a Marine. You're not an airman. You're not a coastie. Like, if you sign and you don't go and you don't graduate, you can't claim that. Like it's just kind of like one of those things where it's like saying that, you bench 350 pounds, but you benched like 300 only,
She never even went to basic training. She didn't even have a uniform. She didn't even have anything. She never even was yelled at. She went to MEPS, signed a piece of paper, did this, raised her right hand to say she would support and defend the Constitution, foreign domestic enemies, go against all that, but never actually left. I just love how she's talking in what I would say are absolutes almost, because when you see this, it's somebody that is obviously like, well, they could have done this and this and this, and like, bam, 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 bam. I was going to be the next greatest thing. Every single person joined the military. For some reason, things work like that. And it takes very short amount of time for you to realize it does not. It is very slow. It is a painful process. It is the red tape that you do not just get to, collect $200 and pass go. And on top of that, if you're enlisted, I tell people this, there is an even greater chance of you not making it to where you want to go to for a few reasons. One
True, because they may not have a position there. Like, so I'll give you guys an example, actually. I signed a 1306 for me to transfer back to C early, where they will issue me more money for curtailing my shore duty early so I can go back to battalion early and I'll get like a lump sum of money, right? But right now, the only orders are California orders, and I rather not go to California because I have a almost 3-year-old daughter who lives in Louisiana, and I haven't went to the courts yet to decide custody and like what the court says. Like, dad has her like this time, this time, this time, and mom has her this time, this time, this time. Like, so there's no court order, so her mom like controls everything and makes my life a living hell whenever I try to see my daughter.
major one is the fact that there's just like a record of everything you've done, been good at, been bad at.
He must be on his iPhone or something like that, or like, because he's got like the thumbs up thing, and that's the new iPhone thing
On your military record when you're trying to go officer. And then on top of that, there's also the barrier social culturally that does happen where some people look at you and don't think you should be an officer, which, by the way, these kids on the streets are putting letters from the professors, letters of recommendation, where like in the actual enlisted military, it's like, you must beg for a letter to recommend you. Please give me a drop of water just for a chance.
I'm surprised my recruiters didn't do that to me. Like, hey, you gotta get recommendations then if you're gonna if you want to go officer. They didn't even do that. They were like, nah, you're not going. Like, nah, you're going enlisted. Like,
Chance to go to OCS, to be amongst kids that were like, I made it here because I got a 3.5 GPA. Woohoo! Such a wait to join the military. Yes, there probably was. That's not too bad in 2009. By the way, the crash of the housing market happened in 2008, where a lot of people were flooding in because they didn't have jobs. So the military was a pretty stable job at that point. So not totally wrong, but 4 months is not crazy of a wait. You have up to a year to actually ship out and go somewhere else or go to your boot camp. So yeah, not too crazy, but couldn't make it 4 months without getting pregnant. But comments don't disappoint. They never do. Jake Thompson says, things that didn't happen for $500. And then someone named Grant says, coming from someone who recruits for the Army here, she is full of S. She learned enough information to sound believable to those that haven't served or know how recruiting works, but she's still full of S. Audie says, so you need medical school to be a combat surgeon, not a bachelor's degree. And lastly, someone says, there's no such thing as a combat surgeon title. And I must have
true. I've never heard of combat surgeon either. So
been at this weird part of my algorithm where they're like, do you want to see females that are doctors or went to med school and are in the military? Sure. Here you go. Force feed it down your throat. I was like, it was back to back from that clip to this one. So this is Chandler MD, where she says, pathway for how the Army paid for her schooling to become an Army physician. One, during senior year of high school, I applied for the ROTC scholarship, then did ROTC while attending civilian college. Then she says, I applied for an educational delay to delay my Army service after graduate school, meanwhile applying to both medical school and HPSP scholarship. And then she says she graduated commission, went to the inactive reserves to go to med school during medical school until medical school year 4, when she did the military rotations and applied for the military residency match instead of ERAS. And she said participated in the military match and graduated medical school. There she is. She's active duty captain, and she got all of it. And she will owe the money. And she says here in the last one, when I graduate residency, I will owe the Army a whole bunch of time in service as an attending. Yeah, so that is like the basic, like, not short path, get you straight to combat surgeon.
The Navy has stuff like that too. The Navy, they have programs where you can go to nursing school or you can go to become like a dentist or something like that. They have different types of programs where if you want to go, like, as an officer, you want to serve, you can do all that stuff in the Navy, like law school. They have like a law school program. You know, they have these types of programs where you can become an officer. Officers make way more money, by the way.
Like it.
But Mustangs make more money than 01s, 02s, and 03s because enlisted officers who were enlisted, they're Mustangs. Mustangs get EO1 pay, EO2 pay, EO3 pay. I don't think there's an EO4 pay, but yeah.
It takes a lot of time to become a doctor. You can see how many years that would be. But I don't think it's as dumb as somebody enlisting wanting to do 4 years, where this person is going to have a lot of time in the military, commitment-wise, but everything is paid off. So they had the ROTC scholarship, which means they're going to owe time back for that. They went to med school, owe time back for that. And then they have a residency, which means they owe time back for that. So it's kind of crazy what can happen because you can owe like 10 years to the military, but debt-free, I don't know. It still is crazy that people can be debt-free in their mid-ish 30s and go practice and make like $300,000 a year, maybe even more. But yeah, that is the craziness I've seen across social media right now. Have you guys had anyone that almost joined the service that essentially was like telling their story about how they never actually went? Because these stories always end up being kind of interesting just detector tests for me because I know when it doesn't feel right. Let me know down in the comments below.
All right, let's see what the comments say. She was almost a veteran. Also, if someone says combat surgeon instead of field surgeon, they're probably full of it. True. $20 says either she was a military brat or she dated a couple of soldiers. She clearly spun up the same story, but to civilians that didn't know to call the bullshit. Let's see what this chick says. I enlisted and served 4 years as a combat medic in the 82nd Airborne, then had an active duty ROTC scholarship and became a field artillery officer and served 7 years on active duty. Then received an active duty scholarship for medical school and owed 7 years obligations with my residency 4 years long and fellowship 3 years did not count towards my obligation. So she had 14 years of obligation. She retired as an 06 colonel. By the way, I did serve in Iraq as a general surgeon and commander of the forward surgical team. So this dude, he did his time. All right, I got to get something to drink. So
when it's time to fuel up, I don't cut corners. This is Guns Powder, 100% whey isolate chocolate flavor protein that hits just right. You can mix it with water. I like to mix it with Fairlife milk. It mixes smooth, it tastes like a milkshake, and yeah, it actually keeps me full. It's got 25 grams of pure, fast-digesting protein. No added sugar, no fillers, just results. There's also 0 artificial flavors, just clean fuel your body actually uses. So whether I'm lifting, on the go, or just staying consistent, this is part of my routine now. If you're serious about clean protein with great flavor, Guns Powder is where it's at. Hit the link in the description, check it out, grab your Guns Powder today.
All right, Fat Chief. Go follow Fat Chief on Instagram. He's FatChief_USN. Get yourself some Guns Powder. Has 110 calories per scoop, 1 gram of sugar, 1 gram of carb. Great macros, amino acids. It's great. Get yourself some Guns Powder. All right, I got one more, and then I got to go. There's one more I wanted to watch, and I didn't watch this one. So it was this one. Green Beret exposed for stolen valor and war crime lies. As far as Valhalla, as far as that guy didn't cover this. Let's add this to the stage. All right. Tucker.
In Gaza. These children that are starving and dying, these children, you know, they look like everyday Americans. The IDF would shoot at their feet, shoot over their head. We would.
I don't know. That guy doesn't look like an American to me. He looks like a Spanish kid.
Shoot at them. Shoot at their feet.
I mean, well, there's a lot of Hispanics in America, but he doesn't look like American to me.
over their head, shoot into the air. Amir didn't make it home.
So here we have a massive story where we have a Green Beret that retired at 25 years with a troubled career that didn't really go as planned, which then brings that to another issue as he gets out and does a contract company over in Israel and essentially gets fired from that job and is now having a battle of going out and in a revenge, a lot of people are saying, against this contract company and against the United States and saying there are war crimes that are being committed. Now, I have to say there are levels to this battle. There's the battle between him and the contract company that he was fired from, him and special forces community that's out there, him and the US/Israel that's out there. And it is convoluted so many different things because all of those have their own biases that are there. And I'm going to try and break it down, but these are some of the claims he has been on Tucker Carlson with and various other platforms, essentially saying that we're doing all these bad things, including Israel, and this is unprofessional and violating U.S. military Geneva Convention issues and things like that. And here we go.
This little boy, you know, he's not ISIS. He's not a combatant. This was on secure distribution site number 2, the 28th of May, our second day of doing distribution. I didn't get this secondhand. I didn't see it from afar and then assume I saw it. I touched it. I felt it. Other people saw it. This young little boy, his name is Amir. I know that because when he walked over from the crowd of people, we thought maybe he was hurt or maybe he was asking for some more food because all he had in his arms was a small bag of rice, half a bag of flour, some lentils that he had picked up from the ground. He didn't have much. As he was standing there, we were both looking at him and he was very emaciated. He had no shoes on. His pants were tattered. He had a kind of a rope or string holding his pants up. Filthy. Probably hasn't bathed in months. Probably hasn't eaten in days. And oh, by the way, when they walk 8 to 12 kilometers to get to these sites, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation mechanism provides no water. Zero.
Yeah, that's just very unfortunate for those countries. You know, like I feel bad for when I see kids like having to suffer. You know, meanwhile, you know, kids in America, they are blessed and very lucky to be in America where you turn on the faucet and magically water shows, you know. So, you know, I really feel for these guys.
Not a single bottle because it's too expensive. Distributing water weighs so much that it breaks down the profit per cost per truck. All of their food, by the way, requires water to cook it. Rice, lentils, beans, flour, you gotta have water. So what we're giving them, I don't know how they're eating it, but people are dying in Gaza.
So why not make some CBs deploy to Gaza or, you know, whatever, and do some humanitarian missions? You know, like we have all of the construction material that, you know, we can do. We can do it all. The CBs, we can build buildings. We could drill water holes, water wells. We have water bowls. We have everything. We have the most sustainability that, you know, I mean, besides the Army, like Army Corps of Engineers, like they're the top dogs. But like the CBs, we are like the next best thing. You know, we're the Navy CBs. Like, you know,
these children that are starving and dying, these children, you know, they look like everyday Americans.
I don't know. He doesn't really look American to me, but you know, I mean, I feel for this kid though. Sucks. Who's this all around him? Like, looks like debris, garbage, some shit. You know, that's terrible.
This child is picking up noodles off the ground with his bare hands because there was no food left. So he's picking up noodles to put into his backpack. Amir goes back to the main group. Coming in and going out, they're tied right back into the active combat zone. And there's an IDF. So the IDF are shooting at the crowd that's leaving. As the
IDF is the Israel
crowd left and they would hit the Marag corridor to go west, the IDF would shoot at them, shoot at their feet, shoot over their head. We would shoot at them, shoot at their feet, shoot over their head, shoot into the air. The shooting keep going on, like just the rap, and Palestinians dropping on the side of the road. So Amir didn't make it home. He walked 12 kilometers to get some food, picked up scraps off the ground, because that's all that was left, because the 8-minute mayhem took all of the food. And by the time he got there, walking with no shoes, hungry and tired, the only thing left for him was to pick up some remnants off the ground. And when he left, he was killed by the IDF. Why? Because they lack discipline, they lack standards, and they lack basic human decency. Now, do I think that they intentionally shot him or shot the people they were shooting at? No. But when you use machine guns and tank rounds and mortar rounds to control a crowd, what do you think is going to happen? And the United States stands by and watches it. The only way I could describe the sites is death traps. And they didn't become death traps. They were designed as death traps. And the United States puts aid and we lure them in. And when they leave, they get shot at coming and they get shot at going. So the reports you hear from Nasser Hospital, which is about 5 kilometers from site number 2, Nasser Hospital, that you hear all the reports of dead civilians coming in to get treated. The doctors have said this is grotesque. Doctors have testified that every time GHF does a distribution at site 1, 2, or 3, which the road from those goes directly to the Nasser Hospital, they get a massive influx of patients to what they call mass casualties.
I got this Substack over on Twitter, and it's from Greenberry Nap Time, where essentially they're saying that Lieutenant Colonel Tony Aguilar is a liar. He's also an unhinged, incompetent narcissist, and I can prove it. Now, this person goes down line by line of every reason why this guy is essentially not telling the truth during all of this and making this an entire smear campaign for his own benefit.
Yeah, I got to see if Valhalla's.
They say buckle up because this write-up includes receipts that proves Tony was fired for cause, begged for his job back, resorted to threats when he was denied, and ultimately made up a story to gain personal fame and notoriety. He even forged official document that he then sent to the press. And the Substack does dive into this because they go into his soul and valor issues where people are talking about, and I've even looked up as well, where essentially he says he had a silver star and he said he had a purple heart, but I'll let you guys decide. They say Tony's background. Let's start with a bit about Tony's background in the Army career that looks fine on paper, but has some striking red flags for those that understand that Special Forces community will immediately recognize. It says Tony boasts that he commanded from the platoon level to the battalion level in an email I will share later. But what he fails to disclose is that none of those commands were in Special Forces. His only Special Forces command was a CPT on an ODA. His subsequent commands were at SWCS and 18th Airborne, respectively. To give context, and they say it in the Substack as well, is we know that there are bureaucratic, arbitrary, whatever ways that essentially if you're looking to become the boss of the boss of the boss, you have to go through these company level, platoon level positions.
Yeah, the military's political.
Essentially to move up. And if you don't meet those things and you're not hitting those wickets and you are, I'll say, peered out essentially, where you have conflict issues, personality issues on why you can't lead, you don't go there. And what they're saying is these are big red flags that essentially say like, Tony may have not been the best fit for the Special Forces operations community. And essentially his career was going nowhere. They say after his 18th Airborne Command, yes, it is telling for a Special Forces officer to command in a regular Army unit, he found himself returning to SWCS as a staff officer miles away from the thought of a command billet. He then floundered there doing nothing of value for a few years before finally being forced out because of his inability to continue moving up in rank. Now, that is true that officers, if they get passed over for promotions so many times, they can force you out of the military because it's like they need to make room for other people that are performing and moving above and beyond, and maybe have them get a shot at it because it's a revolving door. The day you leave is the day nobody cares about you. But there is proof that Tony was fired, and this whole smear campaign of his claims of these war crimes and all this other stuff are there. Now, there are some character flaws that are also noted, not only from his career in the Army, but also outside, as this mugshot has been shared, as it shows that he had been charged with not treating somebody so nicely. So,
oh shit! So he got in trouble.
I'm just trying to paint the picture of people showing character flaws or issues.
He hit a girl.
That are there, because I think that is important as people are trying to do that and could detract from the actual truth of maybe what he is saying. And that is because there are text messages where it's proof that while he was fired from this job, he was actually begging for it. This text message says, Dan, I can be of value to the team. You know that. I just retired from 25 years of service in March, just a bit over 60 days. It's hard to break or even recognize the way I am. The UG team relied on me in the beginning. John C., Nate, and even you thanked me on day one for my part in getting things back on track. I allowed myself to get too attached and too deep and lose track of my role. You know I'm capable and want to be part of this team and part of the mission. I will apologize to Mo and Carlos. I texted them as much and when they want to talk. I will apologize in person. Let's please talk. I have a good relationship with the men. I work my butt off for them and the mission. I allowed myself to get too stressed and I haven't been eating or sleeping well, and it clouded my judgment. I can correct. I can fix it. I'm asking, please. I'm a good man and hard worker. He says, tomorrow and Sunday are my 2 days off. I want to stay on the team and on the contract. Put in an ops support role. Put the guy coming in on Saturday and as the jock TL, and I'll support the ops. I can self-correct and go back on track. He says, let me get through the today. And
I don't know what any of that stuff means. So if you're lost like me, if you're in the Army and you know what that stuff means, let me know in the comments.
I don't think there are flights out anytime soon. Anyway, take the day. I'm getting all the documentation from everyone, which includes SRS folks. Personality fit obviously has been challenging. I'll shoot a message when heading back north or tomorrow, meaning let me gather everything from everyone. Not a matter of if you're a good man or not. I don't question that verse fit in the role. And he says, I understand, Dan, this is new to me, contracting, know my role, etc. I took on too much as a leader role and not a contractor role. I accept He says, I accept responsibility for not being self-aware enough to self-correct, but I can and I will. And from those text messages, you can see those were on Friday, June 13th. He is saying he got there in May. So all of these issues are within not even a month. Somebody getting out of the Army 60 days later, going into contracting, and then this. There are a lot of people that the identity of them being a certain rank in the military or having certain respects or privileges of those titles and ranks essentially think that they're going to get those outside. And it looks like he didn't get those here. And that's why they're like, you are not in your field. Stay in your lane. You're supposed to be doing this. And we're going to go over what his lane was because it was pretty specific where you're like, why were you going out with these kids anyway? And this is, again, the next day where Tony then decides he's going to send another text message and essentially beg for his job once again. He says, I'm going to send you some thoughts to consider with the UGS leadership. I do not want to leave. I understand my current contract as the JTOC operator is terminated. Fine, but I can be put on a new contract. If Taz, liking that or not, is that fear, then UGS is being held hostage. Just today, reports from SRS people that live in the Berar Shiva are that Taz lost it again. This time on Joe. Ask Joe. I can be of huge value to this company and contract. Take advantage of me as an asset. No one else on this contract has the planning, leadership, and experience that I bring. Infantry, Ranger Regiment, Special Forces, command at every level. The issues that we have are easy to fix, but it requires leadership. That's what's lacking. The lead for this mission is not an operator job for whatever the hell operator means in the security guard world. This role required. So you can see here he is deflecting to other people like, see, they're not doing a great job. I could be a good fit. And so we all know if you're trying to pull other people down, essentially it's not going to be a good look for you. And
that's a crab in a bucket mentality. Like, don't be a crab in a bucket.
And people essentially are going to tell this guy, chill out, because he is being invasive. And again, somebody says, I'm going to send you thoughts to consider with the UGS leadership. They're like, actually, I have some thoughts on like how this place could be better. I've been here less than a month, but like, let's make this operation run smoothly. By the way, if you guys forget, I mean, this has been going on for literal years as of filming this video, where people have been on the ground for what, almost 3 years now doing this. He's been here days at that point. Now, this next message is where the stolen valor gets questioned, and we're going to go into that. He says, John, got it, just came off chemo from stage 4 cancer before I took this job. Both of my children are adopted. One is blind, the other is autistic. I understand family 1,000%. All the more why me being here is important. I earned 2 Purple Hearts, a Silver Star, and a Bronze Star for valor in combat. Look it up. I will drag my nuts across 100 miles of glass before I capitulate to BS. Figure something out, or I'm on a plane come Tuesday and the gloves are off. Now, looking at that, I looked on
I wonder who that was then. Was that him? Was that the guy?
Global War on Terror. I looked at homeofheroes.com. It looks like they have a registry of every person that had something for a Silver Star. And this is for the Army, and I do not see him on there. I also searched for him over on the National Purple Heart Hall of Fame. Do not see him there either. So take that with what you will.
Oh, today's Purple Heart Day. So if you know anybody that has a Purple Heart, wish them a Purple Heart Day. Or maybe don't, because they probably don't want to remember.
Maybe I'm dumb, but the people in Substack say differently. They state facts. Tony only has one Purple Heart. He does not have a Silver Star. Now, during this firing, he knows the wheels are going off the rails, essentially, and he's trying to correct it the best he can, but his personality riffraff is just not working, and he threatens even further. He says, you know, Mo, I like you. This doesn't have to be this way. I can be your best friend or your worst nightmare. Stop effing around. Put me back to work and let's get this mission done. 1, I don't have to leave Israel. I'm here on a tourist visa, period. 2, I've met so many people here that are on my side. I can stay anywhere in Israel rent free. 3, we can talk, figure this out, and make this mission succeed as a team, or
this guy's an idiot for even texting this shit in.
We continue this petty BS. As I stated, I like you. You're a good dude. If you want to play games, we can play games. And this guy says, Tony, I'm only going to say this once. Stop. Period. If you have kids that are blind and you just got off cancer, I don't think going to go do a contractor role is probably your best bet. Mentally, you got to reset from the military, from cancer, if that's true, whatever else. I'm not really sure what he was thinking by taking a role like this. Now, on top of that, these Green Beret that run the Substack have essentially broken down that the memorandum of exposing all of these things and war crimes and whatever else was essentially on bad information that was only done after the fact, as they are saying that metadata has essentially proven them correct in all of this. And what they show here is the fabricated memorandum. It says for UG Solutions and SRS Operational Country Team Leadership, and it says date Wednesday, 2025. However, they show below here on the PDF, and it shows that it was the July 21st, 2025. Now, there are some other interesting aspects of this. There is a report against this former Green Beret, that Fluid report, which is like this counsel to the contract company that he was working for, essentially did this investigation and was trying to cover them, UG Solutions, because they're like, we need to figure this out. Like, how much is truth, how much isn't? There's a lot of convoluted things, because he pretty much went on a killing spree trying to go to every single, media outlet that's out there. And what's funny is, for a person that's saying he's going to make them the worst nightmare, all these other things, essentially to expose this entire contract company out there, essentially they find that not to be the truth, because he was kind of gloating about how awesome they were doing and all the strong work they had. And since the report goes on to show positive messages that Tony sent to the team during his few weeks of employment, namely on May 31st, praising the company's work, providing life-saving humanitarian aid to 20.45% of the entire population of Gaza, delivering 716 tons of aid into the Gaza Strip, and 26,040 family meal boxes of humanitarian aid, equaling 521 tons in a single day. And they say, does this seem like a person witnessing war crimes and the murder of civilians? And it says the report goes on to say, but while Mr. Aguilar praised UG Solutions' success, those within the company expressed grave concerns regarding Mr. Aguilar's substandard performance and repeated workplace conflicts. During the first 2 weeks of June, Mr. Aguilar repeatedly complained that he was asked to perform tasks that are assessed to be outside of his contractual obligations in his role as JTOC team leader. He refused to. Yeah, I'm going to tell you, as looking at the numbers and how this is all great, he was trying to do the battalion commander thing and be like, look at all these great numbers and how awesome everything is. And that was his wheelhouse, just pumping out stats and objectifying any kind of thing they can do to essentially say that they were doing their job. It's just so military. And essentially, we are seeing kind of the last rebuttal from this former Green Beret as he sends an email pretty much trying to go line by line to correct the narrative as much as possible. And that is this one over here. It is long-winded. It is just continuously going over different things he's received. It's going over his experience. It's going over everything that you could think of to try and rebuttal. just his character essentially. And essentially, he goes on to this to say he was not fired, but it says here from a statement, as your engagement with UG Solutions concludes, we extend our gratitude for your contributions to our mission. HR BS, essentially, that's there. And then essentially, he shows that this was created with some kind of screenshot here on June 25th that it was there. So, yeah. They even cite that sworn statements from UG Solutions contractors were against him. And they say the first is a former Force Recon Marine turned Navy SEAL. He says one line that I think hits home in describing who Tony is. He created chaos in an environment which should be calm and controlled. All in all, 9 sworn statements were written and signed off on under penalty of perjury by 9 independent contractors that worked directly with Tony. And they all said the same exact thing. Tony was highly emotional, unprofessional, and substandard performer, arrogant, ignorant, and incompetent. You can read the rest of the sworn statements here. So there are a lot of mud flinging that's going on here. And I just want to shout out to somebody that says they have 20 team members, Delta Force, Green Beret, whatever, like holding accountability for people. These are statements. These are written, signed statements, legal documents that are here. You know, when people talk about the Tim Kennedy situation, I'm like, this is how you come with receipts.
Yeah, the Tim Kennedy thing was like supposedly he lied about all of his stuff too. Or whatever. I don't know. Fucking Valhalla likes to talk.
This is how you talk about something in facts. That's what I like. But this has been a very, very messy Green Beret situation. Looks like there's a lot of Green Berets that are messy right now. And some probably are going to have to hold themselves accountable. And it looks like they are already within their own community. But what do you guys think about this situation with this Green Beret pretty much going on a war crime path and trying to do a smear campaign against the U.S. military for his own maybe personal vendetta or issues he's had, or maybe just he has a really good heart and you guys believe that story? I don't know, but I'm sure.
What's up where I'm currently at?
People are dying.
There's 2 sides to every story. Remember that. Always 2 sides. Let's see what the comments say. This is the military guy that left-wing Twitter champions. This dude lied about one of his Purple Hearts. People on Reddit defended him for doing so. I knew something was off with this guy. He says he knows nothing about Gaza humanitarian fund, but worked for them anyway, saying there's not much information out there. I looked it up as I was watching Tucker's, and there's tons of information about GHF. Just 10 minutes in, he sounded so much like a propagandist. I couldn't trust anything he was saying, even if it was true. Couldn't tell 20 minutes. That's all I could stand. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of propaganda on the news and shit. I hate watching the news. I barely watch Fox. Like, I usually just watch like the black conservative perspective, really, and like liberal hive mind. Those are, and then RJ Talks. I watched those guys. What happened to OPSEC? That's a good one. Imagine if he said about the Ukraine kids. I believe no one will blame him for accusing him of lying. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see what Valhalla. Does Valhalla? Am I still subscribed to him? I don't know. I kind of got a little mad at him. Like, he likes to talk shit about everybody. Like, he just, oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, I never watched it. I didn't watch this, but he just likes to talk shit about everybody. And, you know, why would I want to talk smack about people like all the time? Like, I have much better things to do. And hate comes from beneath, you know, like, I don't know if he like hates them, but, you know, I don't know. I just get a bad taste in my mouth whenever you like talk smack about like other people or whatever like that all the time. Like, you know, do you have something else to say? So, but that's going to be it. I'm going to wrap this one up. This is the muster report number 5. Get yourself some guns powder. I got the link in the top comment. You can go and check out my Shopify store. You sign up for the email list, you'll get like 20% off. And go follow Fat Chief on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. If you have any questions or anything like that that you want to know about the Navy or anything, just leave me a comment. Or if you do post on the Reddit forums, I do create reels and help people out for that also as well. So like I said, again, subscribe, like, comment. Let me know what you think about these people and what these videos and stuff like that. Again, get yourself some guns powder and chocolate and vanilla. I got Ops T-Boost. I got to re-up, so I don't have any right now, but I will soon. Next week, I'm going on leave. I'll probably do a live stream again, probably next Thursday. Just depends on what the plans are with the boys up in New York. So, all right. Glad that you guys are watching, and like, subscribe, and comment. Peace.